afternoon, everyone. Perfect. So, two commitments. One is there will be no death by PowerPoint because I strongly believe that you need a PowerPoint only when you do not have power in your points, right? No, I'm fine with this. So that's one commitment. The second commitment from me is this whole next 1 hour or so will be as much fun as possible, and I'm not going to be talking theory. So no death by PowerPoint and no death by theory, right? One commitment in turn I want from every one of you. I give two commitments and I want one commitment. I just want complete focus, right? And one more commitment I'll be happy if you can give, challenge me wherever you have a question, right? So I'm inviting that right away, right? Okay, so let me begin with a story. So there was this new CEO who had taken over the reins of a beer distribution company. Saturday evening talking of beer, okay, fine. So he just took over the reins and he noticed a very strange pattern that, the distribution used to happen in very far away areas, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They used to go to all the dealers very, very far away and finish the distribution. Thursday was a day of rest, and Friday, Saturday, the distribution would happen in nearby areas. And Sunday was a day of rest. So he was wondering what kind of pattern is this? I mean, there is no logic to it. So he met with his predecessor, the CEO who had just left the company, and he asked him, why do you think this is happening? So that person said, I'm not sure, but this is how it has been happening all these years, and I never questioned it. Jo chal raha hai, chalne do. So it was happening. But he said, now that you've asked me, I'm wondering why is it so? So let's go and ask my predecessor. So the person who was before, the CEO before him, he's retired now, he's 94 years old and he lives in some farmhouse in some outskirts. So they make a weekend plan, they go and visit him. And they go and ask him that there is this unique pattern, Monday to Wednesday distribution happening very, very far away. Thursday is a day of rest, and Friday, Saturday distribution happening in the local areas, and Sunday is a day of rest. What was the reason? Why was this pattern happening? So this 94-year-old man, he says, oh, that is because the horses are very tired because they have to travel long distances Monday to Wednesday. So Thursday is a day of rest for the horses, and Friday, Saturday they go nearby, and Sunday again they take rest, and Monday they are charged up again to travel long distances. And then it dawned on the second CEO. We have been using trucks for the last 20 years. So where is the question of horses getting tired? But the interesting thing is, no one thought about why, right? So heard of Simon Sinek? So he always said, start with the why. And then what comes after that? The how, and then the what. Okay? So it's all starting with the why. So when I bring this story into the context of design thinking, and that too particularly in the area of human resources, always start with the why. First of all, break a myth. Design is not meant for products alone. Design is something which appeals to the user's mind. So when you're creating a user experience, design comes into play. You've been invited to a friend's birthday party. So what is the item that you will carry? What is the gift that you'll carry? So when I say the word gift, whatever is the first thought that comes to your mind, just draw that gift. How will you represent a gift when you're drawing? So what is the picture that comes to your mind when you are asked to draw a gift? That's the question. Done? Done? Gift? So I want a show of hands. How many people drew a square or a cuboid with a ribbon around it? Almost everyone. Almost everyone. So when you how many people the word gift resonates with a square or a cuboid if you are an artist, and with a ribbon with a bow on top? Most of us, right? The word gift. So here you're starting with whatever comes to your mind first when you're talking about gift. Now let's take a twist in the situation. Fortunately, everybody's sitting in pairs. So let's assume the people on my right side of each row is inviting the people on the other side for their birthday party. Okay? Now you have to think of a gift for that person, right? Now draw, what will you think of? You know the person next to you fairly well, right? You are all batchmates. So now the person on my right has invited you for the birthday party. People sitting on my left of each bench, draw what comes to your mind when you talk about gift for that individual. Done? How many of you had shapes which were different from the cubes or cuboids this time? Shapes are different? Still a few of us had cubes in place? Okay. Now this is the first stage of your assumption of what is it that your bench partner probably likes. Okay? The third stage is bringing design into it. Have a conversation with the other person and try to understand what is it that that person wants as a gift. And have a quick conversation and then draw something. I'll give you 3 minutes for this. Have a quick conversation. This is the first step as you draw your EVP. And what making compensation and benefits robust make to your organization? It makes your organization competitive. It makes your organization competitive in the market. I started my career in HR with expertise in comp and ben, because I felt that moving from a science background into HR, I don't understand people. So first let me understand the science behind what holds people back, right? So comp and ben is where your organization becomes competitive if you bring a science, if you bring a rationale, if you bring a user experience into it. The second stage is where you talk about this is a differentiator. So here you talk about work and you talk about succession planning or whatever, career growth, okay? Now this is where your organization becomes a differentiator. So the work job content itself. It's amazing to work in XYZ organization because their job is like this. You know, it's so interesting. They do amazing projects. So that is what is all on the job content. And how is the career growth in that organization? So apart from compensation and benefits, in that organization, do I see a value add for spending more time? When I make myself redundant, am I able to get another role and groom more people to take my place? All those things are important. When it comes to succession planning, please remember it is not change in designation. A lot of people assume succession planning and career growth is change in designation. It's not a change in designation. It's a lot beyond that. It's the whole package of what happens to your career, okay? So when you are focused on that and when you come up with robust mechanism of defining the job content based on where your organization wants to go and where your people want to go, okay? And you're able to come up with a very strong process of career growth and succession planning, then your organization becomes differentiated. Apart from being competitive, it also becomes differentiated. And sitting right on top of the pyramid, purpose. If you're able to give people, the employees, a very strong sense of purpose, of being connected with the organization, then your organization becomes unique. So this is actually the pyramid in which an EVP has to be looked at. An employee value proposition has to start with the basics of making your organization competitive in its own business and see how it can be differentiated from the others, and ultimately by building purpose for every employee in the organization. So by every employee, I mean down to the junior most person, even a temporary employee, even an intern should be strongly connected with the purpose for which the organization is existing. Right? So this is how you can use design thinking, because when you're using any of these, when you're designing an EVP, you will also think of which are the policies, which are the practices, which are those processes that have to be in place so that these things are achieved. Okay, and then tell me if that really happens. Just cross your heart and tell me if it is ever possible that there is anyone who will want to leave the organization. This is, we are talking about utopia, but we can at least try to get there. Every organization, even Google, will have attrition, but that's not the point. At least we can try to get there. People leave organizations for different reasons, but there are lots of people who are proud to have been an employee of some organization in the past, which they have left, right? Even if you achieve that, feeling ownership and pride, even when an employee leaves your organization, even if you're able to achieve that, then you've been a very successful HR professional. Okay? So do we have any questions here? So after this, I will just again end with a story, and then we can call it a day. But any questions? So there was a hen and some eggs that were to be hatched, and accidentally an eagle's egg also ends up in the same nest, and so the mother hen is actually hatching those eggs along with the eagle's egg. So all the eggs hatch, and there are chicken which hatch out of those eggs, and there's also an eagle fledgling that hatches. Okay, so this eagle fledgling is nurtured by this mother hen, and the eagle also thinks that he's a chicken and he's going to grow up to be a cock. That's what he thinks. So he starts doing things exactly the way the chicken does. So he starts running around in the fields, he eats grains, and he doesn't make an attempt to fly. He just, and then as he grows, he becomes an adult, and still he only flutters his wings and at the most goes to the top of the house roof. That's it. He doesn't fly beyond that because he's been thinking he's an eagle. He grows old, and suddenly one day he sees an eagle flying in the sky. Okay? And he says, "What a magnificent bird! What is that?" So one of his the other chicken that grew up with him, one of them, they tell him that that's the golden eagle, and that's the king of all birds. And you don't even have to think about it because you're not one. Okay, and the eagle, just out of awe, he just succumbs to the fact that he's not a golden eagle and he's only a cock or a rooster. Okay, the point I'm trying to make here is looking at people around you when you go into the corporate world. If you find people who try to tell you that don't even look at it, you can't change anything, you're just a chicken, not an eagle, just open your eyes a little and try to find out whether you really are the eagle. So search for the eagle in you and do not chicken out. Okay. So with that, I actually formally conclude the Gyan session, and we're still open for questions. And students are always priority for me. So with permission from your faculty members, feel free to reach out with me at any time. Any kind of questions that you may have, I'll be more than happy to help you. And of course, don't break protocol. But otherwise, apart from that, feel free to reach out.